Hello, it is the Mad King Paradox S here, bringing you the third installment in my Halloweentown review series. So, let's just get in on this, because I have some things to do real soon, so I need to finish this up quickly. Now, Halloweentown High, that's the name of this one. This is the one where I start getting into the acknowledgement that the people who was watching the original when it came out have matured. So it's one of those. This is the one I feel they're following their target base along with them in real time. So I like that they did that right off the bat. But the whole point of this one is, apparently, since the end of the last movie, the portal is now open at any time. So now, Marty is going to bring about a dozen or so exchange students from Halloweentown into the human world to show that humans have changed and that they could coexist peacefully. And of course, the council doesn't think so. And she makes a foolish decision by saying that she's willing to bet her family's magic that it is possible. So of course that starts the whole thing of she has until midnight on Halloween to prove it, otherwise her family loses their magic. So of course they bring Agatha brings in the exchange students. Who are their names? I have no idea. I know there's Cassie and Ethan and a couple of others, but I don't know their names, so sorry for that one. But they're trying to adjust to mortal high school type of lifestyle, if you will. But there's a problem. There's a thought extinct race of human knights called the Knights of the Iron Dagger that hate anything magical and try and drive it out of their world. Well, throughout the movie, one seems to be following them within the high school or around town. And of course, Agatha, to help keep an eye on things, enrolls at the school as a teacher. And of course, shenanigans ensue on her part. And apparently she has a thing for the principal, Phil. I'll get into him later. I completely forgot what his last name was, but not important. Oh yes, they, after they get through with all their classes and all that, they meet up in this locker, which of course is just a doorway for like this meeting area type place where they all stay and congregate. And yes, of course they start seeing signs of the knights around the place. Like there was a huge dagger drawn on the school courtyard. And then later on, when they went to the mall to observe how people react in everyday situations, they found a dagger plunged into a pumpkin next to a Halloween store after a whole bunch of things ensue there. So they're trying to figure out a way to balance living in the human world for a time and dealing with all these problems with the knights and having their cover exposed. It's a whole big thing. And then, of course, in order to fit in, they start going to clubs. Like one goes to stamp collecting thing, one goes to acting, one goes to gardening, that whole thing. And then part of the way through the movie, you find out that the principal is in fact the knight who's been following them around. And Ethan and his dad, who is the leader of the council, are in cahoots with each other, trying to get the portal sealed completely so that the two worlds will no longer be joined. And so now they're trying to figure out, who is it? Is it someone from the human world as a knight? Is it someone from Halloweentown just trying to keep the portal closed? And the whole movie just goes around trying to balance all of that together until later on in the series when... before I do that, throughout the entire movie as well, Marty starts getting a crush on this new guy who keeps trying to follow her around, trying to get dates and all that, typical high school scenario. After a while, he comes to find out that she is in fact a witch. And so that's her way of trying to move things along, if you will, by revealing herself as a witch to him, to get everyone else to that point where they reveal themselves to other people so that they can be truly accepted. And it correlates later to a Halloween haunted house at their school, because all the groups are pitching in some sort of festival type thing. They decide, hey, let's make a haunted house, show people what we're really like. Of course, it's not scary, it's not disturbing at all. It's just like wax figures having tea and picnics and historical figures. Apparently, it's just bleh. That's actually the best way of explaining it. Yeah, bleh. Son of a bitch. Alright. Well, needless to say, Ethan's dad, whose name I don't even remember, comes by and starts using his magic to completely ruin the entire event. And after that's all dealt with, Phil turns everyone in the school against all of them, saying that they need to be driven out, it's us or them, that whole thing. And thus, Ethan's dad takes away all of their magic as per their deal, and then seals the portal. And then, since it's a Disney movie and still child-oriented, they've gone about the whole stick about, they might be monsters, but they're still good people, and you're friends with this person, you're friends with this person. And then, of course, everyone starts getting back together and all that. Then Agatha pulls out a witch's glass, which at first seems odd, but then Ethan's dad gets thrusted back through the portal, and then it turns out that she was using it to show all of Halloweentown that humans are now accepting of their kind. Thus the portal should remain open, and so they steal Ethan's dad's magic and return it to all of them. How they were able to do that without magic, I have no idea, but that's just nitpicking on my part. And then the movie ends with everyone from Halloweentown coming over to the human world, everyone, hanging out, having fun, going to all these events. And then, of course, it ends with Marty and... Oh, I forgot to say the guy's name. Cody, the guy who's been trying to date Marty. I completely forgot that I was supposed to say his name. But they end up hooking up at the end of the movie, and then that's really it. The plot was simple, yet they did extend it pretty well, juggling all of these things. So, again, I would say this is a good movie. It's less childish than the previous iterations, but still targeting a childlike audience that has matured into teenage years. Like I said at the beginning of the review, them actually following their original target fan base in real time. And then, of course, they do that with the final installment I'll discuss tomorrow. But, like I said, I have things to do in real time, so I'm trying to make this short. The movie was pretty simple, luckily for me, so it was, not a whole lot to talk about. I pretty much covered the entire thing pretty well. I could have went into further detail, but it's really not that important to do so because I've explained all the main points already. So, once again, good movie. I recommend the entire series to everyone. I'm just going to say that in every video now because I've done it in 3/4 of them. So, without further ado, this is the Mad King Paradox S signing out, and I will see you all tomorrow for the final review.